Welcome, guys, to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined with a stellar crew, John Romano, Chris Aceto, and Lee Priest. There's going to be trouble tonight. I can tell it already. I can smell it in the room. And
I'm already.
You're already in
sounds
trouble,
like. Well, you're telling me Fuad's sending you text messages trying to get me off the show because I impersonated him.
No, he didn't tell me to get you off the show. He just doesn't. He didn't like your impersonation of him. I don't think you like that.
John, did you see it?
No, who? What?
Dave, pull up the picture. John will love it. Come on, look.
Lee dressed up like Fuad Abiyad. I don't. By the way, I don't condone it. I don't condone all the ribbing. I think, but you know what? You did give Gary a lot of credit and said that Fuad's doing a great show over there, which he is.
I thought he was. I've always said that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's funny.
You know, no one has a sense of humor. That's the problem about themselves. And John, and I think that, people make fun of me all the time. I laugh as long as they're not like questioning my my science knowledge. Then I'll go back at them. But if they're just goofing on me, I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, it's people need to watch more Archie Bunker and Jeff Evans and what was that other one? There were where people like it was okay to make fun of people. It was okay to laugh.
Not anymore.
Today it's like, geez, like you got to step on eggshells every time you walk around because you're gonna.
I'm glad.
Somebody,
I'm glad they're not movie stars. Otherwise, Saturday Night Live would be out of a job. Ripping people off and stuff.
But the thing of it is that in none of this, at least from my end, it's never malicious. I mean, whatever we laugh at, it's not malicious. It's just funny. Yeah. It's funny because, it's a parody of reality. The truth is funny. Things are funny. Usually things are funny because they're true, right?
Okay. And I said that at the beginning. When I dressed up as him, I said, now, I want to say that I love...
It doesn't pay.
Well... Some people don't like impersonations.
Yeah, Blackman was he hates impersonations.
Yeah, but at the beginning I said the whole Fuad show, I love it, and how they, Fuad, James, and Ben, when they all talk, they have that good chemistry, and they ask. Because all it was, I was taking on because people write in stupid questions about would you rather eat a piece of cake or sit on a dildo? It's questions like that. So I just had questions like, if you had a bird in one hand and a cucumber in the other, is it Tuesday or Wednesday? It's just stupid shit like that. Like, come on,
Lee.
If you can't have a laugh,
the live viewers want you to dress up as me next. They said.
Hold on.
Wait, did you play that?
Don't get upset, Dave. Palumbo don't get upset, Dave. I'm only doing that because I saw in the comments on the Rami picture, people saying, Dave's got a bigger stomach. Dave's got a bigger stomach.
I put up this picture. I put up this picture of myself that I've been digging up. I see old pictures. I put them up. People seem to like the old pictures. Right. So I put this picture up of myself of it's a side chest shot. Let me see if I can pull it up here. And someone decided that they were going to put a side-by-side with me and Big Ramy. It's a side leg shot. Here's my shot. This was believe it or not, this was from the ruins of Detroit. John Butler took this picture of me. I was 281.
The ruins of Detroit. What's that? After a Black Lives Matter protest?
Yeah, it was before Black Lives Matter. This was in the late 90s. Detroit was completely destroyed, basically.
Oh,
burnt down.
That's the old Ford dealership plan, is it?
I don't know, probably. You see the bricks in the back all graffitied up and broken up. That's how it looked. So we went there. He took me and took some shots of me. I was 281. It was the heaviest I competed in North America. And I took sixth. Somehow managed. I don't know how they put me sixth, but they put me sixth. And so someone took this shot and they superimposed it. Let me see if I have it.
Who won the Super Senior, Dave?
That's a good question.
You don't even know.
It might have been John. I think it was John. Well, John Simmons, I think, won the heavyweight. I think it might have only been a heavyweight.
Who came in fifth ahead of you, fifth and fourth?
I think Mike Morris was like second or something like that. It was the guys who were ahead of me were not in good shape.
They weren't 281.
No, but they were not in good shape. It wasn't like they out conditioned me or anything like that. So it was kind of disturbing a little bit, but.
What happened to Mike Morris?
He had some kidney issues, but got out before he lost his kidney. You know what I mean? Like he had some kidney high values, and he said, "Screw this," and he basically, revamped his life. So he was smart.
Yep.
Right, so here's the shot. So someone puts up this side by side of me and Rami, and then the debate starts. Of course, it's funny. And it's funny. Someone wrote something about. I said someone wrote, Dave should have won the Olympia. I said, "There's no way in hell I ever would have won the Olympia. I couldn't hold a candlestick to Rami. It just happens to be a good shot."
If you scroll through the comments there, you'll see that I'm in arguments with people.
You argue with everyone. I don't know how you follow all the trains of conversation on there. He's in every argument.
I have to say though, Dave, what year was that? 92?
98.
98? Yeah. I think it's right around the time Bleckman fell in love with you.
No, probably, yeah. The glutes.
Oh, the glutes.
Yeah, those glutes.
He was a good supporter of me, I will say that.
He always believed in you.
Someone just wrote,
he wanted something in him.
Someone wrote, Lee is such an effing racist. I have half a mind to boycott ARCs as advertisers because of this MFer.
Well, you should. I would have had my pillowcase on, but it's in the wash.
Wait, whoa! What did Lee just do that was racist?
I don't know.
Who knows?
That prompted that comment. I mean, this is a live comment, right?
Yeah. Live comment.
Since I've been on this show,
I don't know.
Where has Lee been?
I'm white.
I mean, Chris, was Lee racist
John.
at all?
I'm white.
Not yet.
No.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to accuse me of it, at least give me time to be racist. Don't jump the gun. Come on.
So can you so if you make a racist comment in jest, like it's a joke, but it used to be not racist, but now it's racist. So I mean, think of it. Okay. So does that make you like a racist retrospectively if you would thought that was funny then? Because if you're funny now, it's racist.
Well, I just wish someone should have told me I was racist before I had that black South African wife who was a Muslim. Why didn't they tell me back then?
Details, Lee. Details.
Does anyone of you guys know?
Why didn't they tell me before I got 4 black cats? Honey, get rid of those black cats. Kick them out on the street. I don't care. It's not like the cats know who their fathers are anyway. Just kick them out.
And Lee, I'm sure that you probably weren't aware that Paul Dillette was black when you moved in with him, right?
No, I let him live with me.
You thought he was white, right?
Melvin too. Melvin actually, when Melvin didn't have any money in that, and I gave Melvin all my supplements and food out of my cupboard. Why didn't people tell me? Oh my God! I'm going to lose my KKK. I'm going to lose my K. They're going to revoke my KKK badge for this year.
Yeah. John, do you know a girl by the name of Michelle Ziegler? Someone asked that in the comments.
What? That sounds a little bit familiar. Ziegler. Michelle Ziegler?
Yeah.
I vaguely, but asking me if I know a girl is kind of like a silly question.
Yeah, that's why I figured you'd know her.
Do you know Teresa Green in South Carolina?
I don't think so.
Look at these cool gloves.
You don't know Teresa Green in South Carolina. They're green in New York State too, and California. But
look at these things I got. Someone sent me these in the mail. Bear grips. Have you seen these things?
What is it?
Bear grips.
Somebody steal Jimmy's idea?
I think they did. No, they're gloves. They're like indestructible gloves, but they're really thin.
Well, when I want to grip and fuck a bear, I'll get some.
You can put lube on here too, Lee. So if you ever decide to tie your penis to a coffee table again,
it's ribbed to your pleasure, Lee.
Did I come in white?
Story with those gloves. Did somebody pay you to do that? I mean,
no, they sent them to me, so I want to at least give them a free plug-in.
Did you try them on? Did you lift in them?
They're great. Them? Yeah, they're really good.
Okay.
The only negative criticism I have is if it doesn't fit, you must have quit. It's a little tight on me.
Oh, that's being racist.
That's a roundabout racist comment right there.
Yeah.
It's an extra large, but it's definitely not. I must need a 3X for my hand.
Yeah, but the back of the glove is black, so that must be racist.
Right? Isn't this what OJ did? He's like,
spread your hands, spread it.
Doesn't fit.
I'm Johnny Cockring, and I find that very offensive.
What a comedy that was. You remember watching that?
And he's like this. He's like,
he won the trial with that little fucking ending statement there.
Oh man!
The way he had his hands spread so far, spread going.
You could see him watching that. But man, I was riveted. I bought a TV just to put that on my desk to watch. I was riveted to that.
I know. Chris, did OJ ever ask you to train him?
No, but he was in Golds around that time.
I know. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, he was in Golds a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to see him. It's funny. He was one of the bigger celebrities. That's how big of a celebrity he was when he was there. I mean, everyone was there around the time. Let's say John was there.
Yeah.
80s, late 80s, late 80s. But when OJ was there.
I'd always miss OJ. Every time I got there, they'd say, "Oh, he just cut and run."
Did you ever train Reggie over there, Chris?
Reggie
Jackson?
No, that's right. Reggie Jackson. No. He was there. That was like 85, I think.
He was there later than that because I lost my mind. I went there and then there in 93
really?
or
No, I never saw
OJ was. I mean, Reggie was there. I almost lost my. He's a big Yankee fan. My dad and I'm like, holy shit, that's Reggie Jackson in there.
Yeah, 3 home runs, 1 game.
In the World Series.
Any given morning, you got Stephen Perry from the singer from Journey. You got Shaquille O'Neal, Magic Johnson, Dennis Hopper, Lyle Alzado. And this is like a normal morning, you know.
Typical. It was like no big deal.
Do you remember when Keanu Reeves was getting ready for what was that movie he did? I think it was Johnny Mnemonic, one of those. And he used to come in on the treadmill, and I think in the movie he had that briefcase that was handcuffed to his wrist. So he used to run on the treadmill with the briefcase handcuffed to his wrist.
Oh, he did? Really? Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, you could get used to it.
What did Patrick Moore say about you, Lee? I keep getting in the comments people asking.
I was on my live Instagram, and someone just come on pretending to be Patrick Moore. It wasn't really Patrick Moore. It was just it's just a fake person.
Someone called you. I guess they said they called you an old washout or something like that.
Oh yeah, I get called never has been, but I always said it's better to be a has been than a never was. But
right.
We were starting to talk about this on another show about guys making comebacks and whatnot, and I still think Lee holds the record for making a comeback because here's somebody who said I'm making a comeback, and he actually came back and he actually won like the universe. So
I'll give him top 3. Chris? Who do you think my top comeback is? We've talked about this before.
Who people who retired?
People came back after a long, layoff and actually did well,
and did well and won
at an older age.
Did Vince Taylor come back?
That's my man. Yep.
Yeah.
Vince Taylor came back.
But that was for
he came back
2001.
Well, for the Mets, though.
Right? No, he came back and did an open show in Australia, right? And qualified for the Olympics.
Did he do it? Yeah, he looked crazy.
And he looked good too, right?
Yeah,
he looked good.
Yeah. And John mentioned Lou Ferrigno, so there's 2.
Yes, because that's got to be the other one.
And then I guess Lee is your number 3.
Lee is 3.
Yeah.
So
who else made a comeback successfully?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but he really wasn't gone that long,
He was getting ready for a move.
Yeah, that's true.
After his comments lately, he's mentally gone.
If you would have heard the Valentino rant that we had to actually edit for after hours.
I did hear it.
You had the edited version of it. John heard the live version of it.
He was going, but I have to say though, after he said all of that, I went and I looked and I watched the video on YouTube, and there's Arnold opening his fridge, Like, well, where's the vegan? What are you living with Carl?
Oh yeah, Greg brought up the fact that remember Arnold was all into the whole saying he's a vegan, and then Greg said he was refrigerated his old eating there, you know.
Steaks.
And he wasn't going to drive petrol vehicles anymore or diesel vehicles. And
Right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's driving a Bugatti Veyron.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. At full throttle, runs out of gas in 10 minutes.
Which the funny thing is now
seen...
Bleckman's going to have to get one, right?
What a conundrum that must be for Bleckman that he's got to spend $3 million on a car.
I was actually watching
sit in front of 7-Eleven and read the newspapers at 5 o'clock in the morning. Can you imagine with a Veyron idling? He runs out of gas because he's only on the New York Post. On page 6, the Veyron runs out of gas, and it's 6 o'clock in the morning. No gas. Elise,
how do you start this thing up?
The Veyron is out of gas.
I actually watched a program on that before. I think there's a place in America now that does the tires on them, but before, I think it's like $30,000 to change the tires on those cars. Before they used to have to send them overseas, but now there's one place in America that does it. You got to ship the whole wheel with the tire, and I think for 4 tires now it's like $30,000.
Oh my God!
$8,000 for brakes.
John, did you?
I was in Beverly Hills one time. I was doing a construction job there a long time ago. And I came back. So I got to know the area down there, Rodeo Drive and all that, where I was working. And so I came back on a weekend one day, and not in carpenter clothes, but just kind of like casual, walking around, going into the stores. And I'm looking at this is like late 80s, okay? A shirt, $240. A pair of socks, $195, a tie, $200. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, they're just throwing numbers out. It doesn't mean anything. How much for the girl? Oh, $2 million. Okay, I'll take her, anything. It's just throw money out. It didn't even matter. It doesn't matter what stuff costs. Like, okay, who's going to pay, honestly? Does it really at all? Did you get to be rich by throwing $240 away on a T-shirt? Is that the acumen that you use to acquire enough wealth to do something so stupid?
Chris, what does Warren Buffett do? He's been driving the same car, right, for 30 years.
Lived in the same house for 50 years, I think.
That's why he's got billions,
lunches, right?
What's that?
Brown bag lunches. He says I'm giving each of my kids $1 million. That's it. I'm giving the rest to the dog pound.
Is that what he said? Wow. That's great.
He sold his Laguna Niguel. What's the beach town? The best one in Laguna
Niguel.
Yeah, Laguna Niguel. He had a house there that he bought in the 60s, and he didn't even upgrade it. It looked like right out of the 60s, but the view was crazy. And he paid like $100 for it, Dave.
Wow.
And he just sold it like a few years ago for like, I don't know, $8
million. Yeah.
It was next to Mitt Romney's house.
Ooh.
Now that's a good investment, right?
Those old homes look like the Brady Bunch when you look inside those.
Yeah, that's what his looked like. It looked like from the 60s.
That's really funny. He probably never was there. That's why.
Yeah, he was never there. That's what
he went there once a year,
there.
Probably.
Yeah. I think he said he'd been 1 week in 40 years.
Oh, it was still a good investment. That's for sure.
Yeah, still, yeah.
John, did you teach people how to carve a turkey on the Gaspari podcast? Someone was saying they loved it.
Automatic cooking. Yeah,
they loved it.
Cook it and cut it up. Well, I use this method. People cook the turkey whole. That's the worst thing you can do, because if you want a turkey jerky, dry turkey, that's the way to do it.
Oh.
You got to rip the spine out and smash it flat and cook it flat.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, I got this special scissor that you yank the spine out with. It's really cool. You should watch the video.
Do you ever have to get rid of a bone? Titus should have called you up when he. That's in bad taste. That joke. Should have. I got to do another plug here for our good friend Carlo Filipponi. He's got his own peanut butters now.
Everyone's got peanut butter.
He's got like protein powder in here. It's peanuts and coconut.
Doesn't Mr. G have one of those too?
No, he should. They should get together, the two of them. They're both in Jersey.
Dave, I thought you were coming over with peanut butter.
Whoa. Mr. G sent me a jar of peanut butter with protein.
Yeah, he just made that himself though. It was probably he was probably licking his fingers before he closed the jar and sent it to you.
He just brought some normal peanut butter, stirred some
Mr.
protein
G's
in it.
Peanut butter Mr. G's peanut butter is delicious.
the world is missing out on not having a reality show featuring Mr. G.
Oh yeah, this is Mr. G's peanut butter.
That's it.
Yeah.
Why don't
Is
you
that oil
produce
on
one?
top, is it? Or
It's
what?
in a glass jar too. It weighs like 10 pounds. This thing. You can do
Amazing.
bicep curls with it.
Is that all the oil sitting on top of it, or what?
It's natural. Yes, of course. That's the oils.
Is that what is that? Test or Decker on top floating?
Did you see that Derek Lunsford fired his coach? I heard. Did you hear that?
Oh.
Chris? Did you
I
hear
didn't
that?
know.
I didn't hear, but it's. I mean, is it surprising? You know.
Yeah, I heard he parted ways with him. Someone wanted me to report that, so I'm reporting it.
Oh.
Dude got some shoulders.
Yeah, this is off. Look how good he looks in the offseason. He gets all filled out and jacked out. Something wasn't going right for his preps.
How come Chris isn't working with him?
Me and Jose were just talking about him. Jose had sent me a picture, and I said, I'll say it. I've been saying it for 2 years. The 212 was not a good class for him. He's like, Eduardo Correa 4 weeks out. He's unbeatable. Nobody can beat him, but he's 226. So by the time he gets down to 212, yes, he's ripped. Yes, he looks good.
He looks better like that, man. That's
Freaky, yeah.
Couldn't you bring him couldn't you bring him in at like
220?
220?
222. 220 is enough, and he'd be
dangerous. How tall is he?
Doesn't matter. 220 on that, it just works. I mean, you can only get down so lean to make that weight. The 212 class is really not a. It's a 212 class, but it's really like a 5'3" to 5'7.5" class.
Yeah.
Max. When you get a big frame and you try to come down to the weight limit, you can look phenomenal 3 weeks out, and just you end up looking not stringy, but you don't look as round as some of the guys who are 5'6".
Right.
Kind of like King Kamali's problem.
Yeah. He would be 350 pounds and come down to like
the other way. Kamali looked rounder.
Someone said that Patrick Tour is working with him now, according to the comments. According to the peanut gallery we have in this.
I listen to some of the stuff Patrick does because I watch the Fuad podcast, and they talk about Patrick like he's the second coming of Jesus, and they're like, "Oh my God, Patrick's got me doing this new training program. I train 1 day off and 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on. And then he's dropped my carbs down a little bit now. So at breakfast time, I cut my carbs back. I'm thinking, wow, how does this guy come up with this stuff? It's amazing.
It's the guru of the month, I always say.
Why is it that they got to try to outsmart the next? I mean, it's like there's such complications. Some of these people that come to me and they say they spell out this program that they were given, and I'm like, what the fuck? Who can't? What? Why is all you can come out? You could come out from that, And it's like I think there's so many gurus, there's so many trainers, there's so many coaches, and if you're the one that's got to be like a neon tennis ball so you can stick out, so you do the most ludicrous things. It's really bad in Mexico. You think it's insane there. I did a phony workout one morning with one of my clients with a Bosu ball, a kettlebell, a dumbbell, a cable.
They probably thought you were great.
In front of you, going like this and like that, and it was absolutely the most ridiculous thing you ever saw. 2 guys were filming it from the balcony, from the cardio balcony. It was on Instagram that afternoon with those 2 trainers teaching their clients how to do the same stupid made-up thing that I was doing. And
they probably wrote a book about it. They wrote a book about that. They wrote a book about that, John, and sold it.
Then because I'm American, then it's like all of a sudden Jay Cutler's name comes up, and it's I had nothing to do. I've never even mentioned him, but it's because you're an American. And you're the. Go ahead.
I've given someone a program before in a diet, and they actually get mad at me. They write back and go, "That's it." I'm like, "What do you mean? Is that it?" "Oh, I thought it'd be more technical than that. That's all I got to eat, and that's what I got to train." I said, I can make it sound technical and give you stupid shit, but That's basic. What more do you want? Well, I thought you'd been a pro would be more scientific and that. I said, I'm not a fucking scientist. I'm a bodybuilder. I lift weights. Pick it up, put it down. Pick it up, put it down. That's one thing Fuad might have got upset about, because this whole Patrick thing training. I did say that Fuad used to do bicep curls. He used to just stand there like this, and he used to just hold the bar like this, and he used to tense his muscles. And then Patrick caught him up and said, Fuad, I got this new thing. What you got to do is lift the bar up and lower it down. Lift it up and lower it down. It's like, and Fuad went, oh my God, I've been doing it all wrong. I lift it up. It's like, it's incredible. Same thing with his chest. For years, Fuad was just holding the bar like this. And Patrick told him, Fuad, you got to bring it down and push it back up. It's like, boom, mind blown, incredible. Chris, don't you steal my ideas, Chris, and give to these Olympia competitors now.
Listen, I'm the least scientific guy around. When people ask me about the science of the sport, I say I still think the Earth is flat.
Chris is like, I just cut sodium. I don't know anything else.
I reject it. I've run from people who talk science and bodybuilding.
Chris, did you ever look at?
What's that?
Did you remember Billy Smith?
Oh yeah, of course. Worked side by side with him.
Did you ever look at his program?
The nutrition analysis.
No, Intrafit.
Oh, Intrafit. That's right. Yeah.
John, I don't. I believe in science and bodybuilding as much as I believe in like graphs in the stock market. When somebody sits you down and they tell you there's a peak and a trough and a 30-day moving average, and it's like, just give me the ones that go up. I don't need to know the technical stuff. So it's the same thing with bodybuilding. People make it way too complicated, and I think the danger is in the complication of it. And the danger is, for a lot of people, is interjecting the quote science of it. Sure. Because there's I don't believe that there's a quote science to it. I think there's experience far outweighs science. That doesn't mean that I deny like the scientific method in things, but
here's the problem.
Listen, Arnold didn't know anything about science. Ronnie didn't know anything about science. Remy don't know anything about science. In terms of like the technical minutia of sarcoplasm, sarcomeres, mTOR, and all the nonsense. It's fun to talk about because it kind of validates like coaching. But does it have a place? I don't really think so. I think it's best to keep things extremely basic, and sometimes the more you know, the less you know.
You know what, Chris? You're right in a sense, but here's the problem. What happens is these guys, they're like I call them armchair quarterbacks. They sit home on Google and they look at MedPub and PubMed, excuse me, and they look at and they read all these research articles about if you do this, you get this. If you pick your nose, then you're going to set off this neurochemical in your brain, and you're not going to grow as much. But if you scratch your butt, you're gonna release more GH. And then they apply that, and they make it seem like, well, they got all this information that they know that no one else knows. But the truth is, there's no practical application of that really, because it's like a test tube type, and they do like 1-day tests on people, and they just try to stay. So it's not really relevant. But the most relevant thing is obviously experience. Now, if you have a science basis in addition to the experience to go along with that, obviously that's the best combination. It's when you think that the science is more important than actually how you apply it. That's when you run into problems. You get these people that have these people doing these crazy drug stacks and cockamamie workouts in the gym that don't really work, but the research seems to support that they work, right?
Yes, but I think the disconnect is a lot of shit. Okay, but I don't want to sit there while I'm training and have to learn about metabolic pathways and the Krebs cycle and pyruvate and glucose. I don't want to know all that shit. Just tell me what to eat, tell me what to do, and I'll do it. And then because you know all of that shit, I'm going to have great results. Right. It's like when I go to the doctor. I don't want him telling me about how my eyeball works. Just fucking fix it so I can see at it.
Yeah, but some people might want to know how it works and why their eyeball is hanging out of their skull.
No, they don't.
It's nice to have explained to you, but when on the granular minutia level of pathways and precursors and interactions, and it's all, nobody needs to know that shit. They just don't.
That's why I used to always say, when you look back at the old days, when you look at like the Bird or Foxes or even Tim Belknap or Arnold and Sergio, look at these guys. Basic food, basic drugs, just busted their ass in the gym, and the dense, thick muscle they had. Like, you look at some of the muscle on those guys back then, to me, they had better fit quality muscle than some of the guys have today who are abusing all these drugs because they actually trained hard, ate the food, did the hard work. Now people want to do less hard work, take more drugs, try and get this bro science and say, well, I heard if you do this and do that and this. It's like, what the hell does that mean? It's like, just go fucking train. It's quite simple, really. It's like,
I think it's a blending of what we're talking about. Chris, did you ever train with Tony Atlas? Someone wants to know.
Beside him, but not with him.
Yeah. You would tell me he's crazy strong, right?
Oh, he's crazy strong. Yeah, he trains chest, shoulders, try, back and by legs, and repeats it. The Coleman's 6 days a week, Sundays off. They train that way, right? 6 days a week.
Was he holding up the world when you saw him?
Chris sees him in the supermarket too, don't you?
Yeah. I posted a picture on Instagram once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still enormous. He's still huge too.
You got to get him on the show one day, Dave.
I know. I got to get him on.
Was he kicking sand in people's faces?
No, this is the Tony Atlas.
The He was the tag team champion with The Rock's uncle.
Say it again, John.
I'm sorry, I cut off Chris.
Oh. What'd you say, Chris?
I was saying Tony Atlas was the tag team champion with The Rock's father or uncle?
Oh, Rocky Johnson. Yeah. His father.
Maybe his father.
Yeah, his father.
Yep.
Maybe he'll get free tickets to the Rock's whatever it's called. Is he having that this year? By the way,
Athleticon.
Yeah, is he having an Athleticon this year, or is it canceled?
I don't know. I think Aaron may be wanting him to not use the word con, and I think it might be an infringement on his
on Redcon
on his registered name.
I got you. It's possible.
I saw a good tag team match with Christy Mack and that other girl. What's her name? Different type of show, but it was a pretty good tag team match. You know that Christy Mack, she's got the tattoo. She's got the tattoos and that, some one of those.
I'd like to see you and Big Lenny have a tag team match. Lee Priest, Big Lenny.
What sort of tag? This is Lenny we're talking about. What sort of tag team we're talking about?
I don't think
that could be anything.
A tranny from the Sound Factory.
With the village people playing in the background.
I was going to ask you guys now.
Wait, what? So how did people like our Duchesne show?
They loved it.
After the fact, there were so many people we should have had on and didn't.
I should have had Chris on too, but I know he was busy, so I didn't want to bother him.
You could have had 1 million people on.
I know.
Chris used to train at Dan trained at Chris's gym in Maine.
That's what I can't believe.
It's crazy.
Like how
you were afraid of him, right? You told me.
Yeah. He used to. I mean, he looked like. How would you describe his beady eyes, John? A raccoon?
Killer.
I don't want to.
Listen, John. The cadence of the voice.
Yeah. It was almost macabre. Yeah.
And the range of topics that he could fit into like a minute and a half, right?
Well,
because he was brilliant.
Brilliant, but you never knew what you were going to get. I mean, you walk into his house at any given time. He's in the lazy boy with the slippers and the bathrobe, kick back, and finger up to his mouth, and something profound is going to come out, and it could be about, tube amps or recumbent bikes or some colossal motor that somebody's building for some car, or you just never knew what telling me about some girl he's working with who's a concert cellist, And
the best summation of him, John, that you said was that if he was doing it, everyone had to be doing it. He would push it on everyone. If he was doing like chicken and rice, everyone had to do chicken and rice in Southern California. If he was doing, tests with this, everyone had to do it. Right?
Everybody was doing Nubank.
and the crazy thing is he had even then, pre-internet, just crazy amount of like groupies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Right?
Well, and they all but see, back then, because there was no internet and because it was the Mecca, everybody was going there anyway. If you were going to Gold's Gym and you knew of him, you were going around the block and you were seeing him. Mike Christian used to say, I'm going to go to Beach Chair and put it in your lawn and watch the parade go by. Between Laura Vukov with the wrestling and him, his client, all these people coming in from all over the world, you never know who you're going to get.
That's crazy, yeah.
You mentioned serial killer eyes. I just watched that 4-part Night Stalker on Netflix about what's his name, the Night Stalker in LA at the time. Did you ever see his eyes when they zoomed in on him? He just had the black as the black.
Oh yeah. What was his name? Martinez or
no, what was it now?
What was his name?
Richard. Was it Richard
Martinez? Richard Martinez.
Ramirez.
Ramirez.
Richard Ramirez. Yeah, but the Night Stalker. But he would kill men, women. He raped girls, little boys. But when you saw his eyes, you couldn't even see his pupil. It's just like these black eyes that were just.
It's like you put the picture up and you say this guy murdered all these people and did all these heinous things, and you look at the picture and you go, yeah, that makes sense. And that was like, if it was like Dan's face. If somebody said you go turn on the TV one morning and they're talking about some heinous crime, and then you'd have his face up there, you go, yeah, that makes. I can see that.
Did you ever seen that? Who was that other guy that murdered I think 30 odd, that Green River Killer, whatever he was?
Oh yeah,
and when you saw him, he was like a family man. Looked like he went to church every Sunday. You look at him, you go, it looks like a neighbor next door, and he killed like 30.
Those are the scary guys because you wouldn't even notice stay away from that guy. No.
My wife told me that almost all the serial killers have light eyes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. So, I mean, she prosecuted a good bunch of cases, and all the real sicko, child molester, murderer, weirdo wackos had light eyes.
Huh,
and it's funny too. Some of them try and claim insanity, but whenever you watch those interviews with them, or even like the ones they did with Bundy later, they sit there and they're so calm and manufactural, and they just talk normal, like yes, and then I did this and that, and just like
right. Who was that guy, the hitman that got interviewed? The Iceman, I think they called him the Iceman.
Yeah, the Iceman,
the guy from Boston, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Man, he talked about killing people like you talk about folding your socks.
Yeah.
Just I strangled him, and then his wife came home and she looked, and I had to shoot her in the face, and then.
You know what though? The mafia guys though that kill people, John. I understand it. I mean, obviously, I don't condone it, but it's a job for them. Whereas, like the sicko, like serial killers that just kill, they're not even getting paid. They're just kind of doing it because they're fucking demented. That's a little scary. Those guys are much scarier than the mafia guys.
The mafia guys are solving a problem. It's business. That's what they're doing.
They're just they're getting paid to do a job. I mean, it's like you're in the military, you kill people.
Right? Exactly.
I still laugh. I still laugh, but I shouldn't laugh because it's pretty sad when I watched that whole documentary on Jeffrey Dahmer at that time, and there's still that one. I guess the police to this day still must feel shit because there was that one guy he had in his house, handcuffed. He gets up, he escapes, he runs down the road. Dahmer goes after him. Because he's a bit drugged up and drunk because he drugged him, he said they're just lovers having a quarrel. The police take him back to the house and they see naked pictures of him. They're like, okay, well, you just keep him inside this time.
And
they leave him there, and he ends up killing him. Imagine that, you escape and then the police,
right?
Eating him. Yeah.
It's like you escape and then the police take you back.
Remember Joel Rifkin?
Yeah.
he lived around the corner from me where my dad was. He was a couple years older, but we used to ride our bikes by his house, and I always thought he looked like a weird guy. Like I was, and I think guys used to make fun of him too. God, thank God he only wanted to kill women, right?
Thank God.
I mean, the guy was like literally like, I mean, seriously, I rode by his house every day on my bicycle. I mean, you would never know.
What about the Nutter Gacy dressed as the clown? He was a weird one.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you getting back to bodybuilding for a second? I got to put
talking about serial killers. This is
yes, sir. I don't know how we got into serial killers. Look at this
John
video.
Started it with Dan Duchesne's eyes.
Right. Yeah, I know. That's true. It was, if anyone didn't see it, the Dan Duchesne tribute special, 20 years that he had passed. We did a special. It's up on rxmuscle.com and on the YouTube channel. It's a great stories from Michael Zampano, John Salami, and John Romano, and myself. So, although I don't really have any great stories, you guys have the best stories. I just kind of like egged you on.
You moderated.
Look at this video of what's his name, of Sean Clarida. People want to know how he put on so much size over the last, what is it? How many years?
Well, he's been training a long time. Of course you're going to.
Look at this kid. I mean, what is he, like 5'2"? He's hack squatting 6 plates on each side. That's insane.
That's only because he's got short legs. He doesn't have far to go.
Yeah, full range of motion. Look at that range, all the way down.
All the way down. Wow. Just repping it out.
That's because he's got short legs. If I had short legs like that, I could do that too.
Isn't it like just like, people must think it's a coincidence that the guys have the freakiest, grainiest muscle of the guys that train the heaviest and the hardest.
Oh,
I mean,
of course.
it's a direct correlation.
He's got the rubber band. He's got the rubber band on there. The rubber band's pulling it back up. I see the trick. I see the trick. There. Look, big rubber band.
Listen,
big
Dave,
rubber band.
Yeah.
Back in my day, we didn't have that.
That set that he did right there just blows any stupid idea of time on detention out the window.
Yeah.
Time on detention. That's a quote. Bro science.
Yeah.
I just saw a video the other day. This girl, I just saw a girl doing this. It was a big thing for a while. Where you tie the muscle off really tight, and then you train it. What is it? Restriction, blood.
That's the
I saw this
inclusion training.
Oh.
Asphyxiation
leg extensions. This girl was doing these legs, and it took her like 10 minutes to put these like seat belts around her quads so tight. I think her legs were going to fall off due to no circulation, and she's got them on so tight. I'm thinking, it's taking you 10 minutes to get ready for the set, and she's got them strapped up, and she says, this is so painful. I'm thinking, well, they normally give you a tourniquet like that when you've been shot in Iraq in the leg or something. It's not like you need to do it before you go in to do leg extensions. It's like, some of the shit people come up with. I remember Tom Platz used to do that all the time. He used to tie his legs off before he trained them and stuff.
Did he really?
No.
How did he know about
Wake
that?
up to yourself. He didn't. That's the point.
Oh.
People just actually trained.
I told him dry and hard.
You know what I find very humorous is the obsession that women have with their butts. That the myriad of exercises and movements that they come up with to target their glutes is just absolutely mind-boggling.
When they can just squat.
Now they got this thing. I watched this girl in the gym the other day. I go, this looks so brutally uncomfortable and pointless. She's squeezing this belt on, like it's got the two things, whatever, the forks, and she's like squeezing the belt, and so her waist is like this, and then she's walking like, she gets to the hack squat, and she's like doing hacks or leg presses or whatever, and then she takes the belt off, and then she's walking around, and then the belt goes back on. What is with this belt that's got to be like so ferociously tight that their weight? Why are they doing this? And then
they're way small.
Glute exercise.
What about when they
glute exercise?
What about when they do those hip? I see so many girls who probably weigh 120 pounds at the most doing hip thrusts with 4 or 5 plates across their waist, and they're doing this and doing. And I tell them, and then they get mad at me because I tell them, listen, the best way to work your glutes is I'll lay down, get an erection, you squat over it, and just clench it tight like that. See, I'll try get out. You I'll try get out. You try hold me in, and it would be like this.
And you got to squeeze. You know?
Exactly. What more do you want? That's
It's way more fun too, right?
Everybody gets something.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. I got a
win-win.
question from the Peanut Gallery wants to know, Chris, what was your opinion of Jeep Swenson when he would be in the gym in Golds?
Wow. He was crazy.
I hate Jeep.
Why do you hate Jeep? He's just a freak.
Remember the day he beat up Tom?
Well, I'll tell you why. I'm going to tell you why I hate Jeep. I went for the part. You know how I did the Hulk thing when I did the body work for the Hulk movie when it came out. I went to George Lucas's studio and had to do all the running and jumping for the Hulk and all the movements. And they downloaded that into the computer and built the first Hulk movie off part of my body. Well, my friend, you remember Christian Boving used to be at Gold's Gym.
Yeah, of course.
He was good friends with Joel Schumacher. So they were doing that Batman Beyond where it had Bane and that in it. So they said they asked me to go up for the part as Bane. So I went up for the part as Bane. So did Jeep. And it came down to me and Jeep for the part. And he got the part because he was taller because he had to be beside Uma Thurman. So I hate Jeep. That could have been my part.
Was it really between you two? They would have had to put you on like stilts or something like that.
That for
Joel
Joel
Schumacher told Christian, he goes, if Lee knew how close it was between him and Jeep, he'd kill himself. But what Joel Schumacher did, he took me back up to the studio when they were filming Lois and Clark, and he took me down when they were filming Lois and Clark and stuff, and I was almost going to steal one of the Superman suits hanging up, but I didn't.
He gave you a little tour? It's funny. I have a Joel Schumacher. I worked on the Batman 3 movie, the one with Val Kilmer, and Joel Schumacher directed a couple of the scenes I was in, so I met him as well. I didn't know you guys knew him. Was he is he in LA?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But when I did the Hulk one, it was funny because they flew me up to that Industrial Light and Magic up in San Francisco, and you walk into George Lucas's office area, and as soon as you walk in, it's almost like the Joe Weider office. I mean, it was just massive. But instead of bodybuilders, as soon as you walk in, he's got this huge glass case with the Millennium Falcon under it. There's stormtroopers standing over here. There's Darth Vader, everything. And then they took me out the back to this big sound stage where they had like 20 cameras set up. And all I had to do was run, jump. When the Hulk was swinging that tank around on the thing, I had a sandbag on a piece of rope. And then when he's fighting the dogs, I'm just slamming bags together. And because I'm a quiet person, dude, is like one of the producers or whatever it was, he was gay as whatever. He's like, no, come on, Lee, come on. Channel the Hulk. Be the Hulk. Be the Hulk. I'm like, oh, fucking hell. And then I did the same
How come you didn't get acting credit for that? How come they didn't give you acting credit?
I did, I don't know, I think it just had bodybuilders in the credit thing. But I used to get actually, for months later, I got paid pretty good for it. But then even months later, almost a year later, I'd always get a check in the mail from Universal. So I must have been getting a small percentage of whether video rentals or whatever. But the thing was, when I went up to do it, I met Ang Lee. Ang Lee was there because he was like the guy that made the first one. And we had to sign this disclosure thing, and it got out that if you can Google it now, Lee Priest or Hulk, it got out online because other people saw me there, and I'd get these phone calls, Lee, you signed that disclosure about you can't talk about you being the Hulk. I said, I'm not. I haven't mentioned it. Get another phone call, Lee. This went on and on. I said, so I finally got to the point. I said, did you notice when I come to do that, I had a Superman tattoo on my shoulder? I fucking hate the Hulk.
Someone said a couple of people said I should play. I play the Dave as Emperor Palpatine.
Oh, here he goes. He's going to put his hood out.
I got to do my Palpatine.
Yeah.
Yes, I am R2-D2. I was
Come
in that,
with
I was
me.
in the
I will
R2-D2.
show you the way of the dark side. We will rule the universe together
Blackman
as apprentices.
Blackman showed me the brown side. Does that count? Does that count?
Doesn't pay.
Yeah, you got to play that video of Logan doing Blackman. That was hysterical. I was crying in my chair when he was playing.
I don't
Logan
think I
with
put
the
that up.
fucking hiding behind the chair doing Blackman.
I said that to you, Chris, too, right?
No, you didn't send it to me, Dave.
I
didn't send you the one.
No,
I think I
send
did.
it. Send it.
I gotta send it.
Tears were flowing
I
down my.
think-
He was doing the puppet.
I think
I don't even know how he
I
knew
think
the
Steve
voice.
should come.
He knew the,
You must
he
be
knew the
paying
voice.
attention.
Steve should-
You must be watching his shows and you don't know it.
Steve needs to come on the show. I think.
Yeah, I think so. You should ask him because he likes you the best, Lee. He
Yeah.
hates John and I.
Well, if not, next week I'm going to dye my hair black and I'm going to come on to Steve. All right.
You might have to take
I'll
one
have to-
for the
I'll have
team,
to get like a-
Lee.
I might have to get like a little tight turtleneck.
You might have to
then,
lose
like,
150
sit down.
pounds.
I'll just sit low.
Oh God.
I
So
put this-
is this magazine still in business? Actually,
I don't know.
Do you know? Has anyone
I
seen
don't
it?
even see it here. I haven't seen
He's
it.
printing
I
it.
just
Barnes and
always
Noble.
see it.
I have no idea.
If he took the money he was wasting on that magazine, he could probably, buy the Viron, right?
You mean I want?
Getting back to the
I
car,
wanna
yeah.
get I'm going to get a Bugatti. Is it a Bugatti? A Bugatti? I want to get a Bugatti.
Oh my god.
Oh
funny.
man.
I want to buy a McLaren. Have you seen the McLaren? McLaren, I think it is. It's like the Bugatti, but it's a vegan, runs on vegetable oil. have you seen?
Runs on used
It's a
French
wonderful car.
oil.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah,
I wanted to
that's
just
a
mention,
good
I want
one.
to get it. I got to get a shameless plug in here. I'm sorry, but I'm going to do it. I got my Secrets to Becoming a Diet Guru course coming up on Saturday, February 6th. That's going to be online, so you guys can sign up. The link is at my DavePalumbo.com website. A lot of people have been asking me when I'm going to be holding next Secrets to Becoming a Diet Guru.
Oh, as Honey
I'll give you a
Redhead
free
signed
pass,
up
Lee,
yet?
if you want to watch it.
The science.
The science.
Is that like a Zoom call? You do that? Is that how you do it?
I have a separate little. These
What's
guys set up a separate thing for me. It's kind of like Zoom, but it's better because I can upload
What's a
my
Zumba
course.
call?
What?
A Zumba call? A Zumba call? Do we do Zumba?
call? Zumba.
What is Zoom? What Zoom stands
No, just
for?
keep up with me. You said Zoom. I just said Zumba.
You remember
Just
that show?
go with the
Zoom. I
comedy,
want to
John.
zoom,
Go with
zoom,
the
zoom,
comedy.
zoom, zoom. Remember that show when we were kids?
No,
Zoom,
we don't.
Zoom.
You remember that? What was that show? Zoom. It was called Zoom, right?
Yeah, I remember that. I can hear that. I can hear that jingle.
My sister used to sing it. I used to drive me crazy. I hated it.
God, there were
That
some
was
cartoons
called-
I used to hate.
Someone asked
What
me about
about
my
how the
fiber
cartoon-
optic line.
What about the cartoons now where they've taken the guns off Elmer Fudd and shit? Isn't that ridiculous?
They did?
Yeah, did
What
you know
did
that?
they
Yeah, they took the guns and that off Elmer Fudd because it's
They
Not-
took them off. Like they
it's too
edited them.
violent.
You know how like they blow each other's head
Yeah,
off, and then
yeah.
Daffy Duck's head
Yeah,
will
all
be
the
like
new
backwards.
ones. Yeah. All the new ones now, there's no guns. So when he's hunting
Oh my
wabbits,
God.
he hasn't got a gun anymore because it's too
Are you
violent.
kidding me?
Did they edit? You mean they edited that?
No,
The new
well,
ones.
yeah, I don't know with the old ones, but the new ones, there's no more guns.
Oh, they're
no
making
more
new
bang, bang.
ones?
Yosemite Sam doesn't have guns anymore.
What the road? So you can't ever watch
You know,
Roadrunner
I always
because they're blowing shit up and.
My
no more
kids will
acne
watch
bombs,
the
no
old
more
Tom
acne
and Jerry.
bombs.
But speaking of that, Lee, my kids will watch the old Tom and Jerry. I can't even believe they like it. They think it's hysterical when they blow each other's heads off and they jump off cliffs and the coyote, they don't take it seriously. My kids are not
Holds
going
up-
to jump
holds
off
up
the
the
top of the
sign.
house.
Help!
Yeah.
Somebody's kid did.
No, I always like the Roadrunner. You'd always hold up the sign. Or what about when the Roadrunner would go or you'd paint the tunnel in the thing and the Roadrunner would come and go straight through the tunnel, or then he'd stand there and wonder how it happened. Then a truck would hit him, and it'd be
What I used to like about Roadrunner was the amount of premeditation that the coyote went through to concoct the way he was going to extract violence on the Roadrunner. And he had the charts, and he was always ordering shit from Acme, and Acme was like the first Amazon. Explosive gun, bear traps, big springs he used to use for some shit. Rockets. You could buy rockets from Acme. Remember, you could buy. And so he would do this premeditated thing. Get away with that today. Yeah. Premeditated violence.
And it was funny too because you'd build it and test it, it'd work perfectly, the Roadrunner would come along, it wouldn't work, and then you'd stand there and look at it, and it would go boom.
Sometimes I feel like that every day.
Every time.
So we as a society are just completely losing all of this, right? I mean, this is like all this is like now taboo. The what we grew up with, the stuff we used to laugh at, the senses of humor that we were allowed to have, all that's gone now. It's just all been plasticized, genderized, and
the woke generation.
I fucking hate that.
But
word.
I did see a couple of years ago they had a thing a couple of years ago. Remember Roger Ramjet? They tried to get him taken off because remember Roger Ramjet would take that proton pill and become really big. They said that was promoting. That was promoting steroid use with young kids because they'd go take pills.
But the spinach that Popeye ate went right with muscle, it went right.
Yeah.
But that was okay because it was spinach.
I hated spinach.
We all hated it.
I never ate spinach once. I hated it, so it didn't work too well, did it?
You watch these movies like.
But I must say, the only cartoon that inspired me was I will admit it that maybe I might have thought twice about having a wank over Jessica Rabbit.
I like that movie.
I'm just saying.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
No, but you remember the movie Judge Dredd with the Stallone?
Yeah, or Stallone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, not Judge Dredd. What was the movie where I think Stallone wakes up. I thought it was a Stallone movie. Demolition Man, yes. Demolition Man. He wakes up like in the future. He's a cop and they had frozen him. And with Wesley Snipes. And everyone is like so perfect. They're not allowed to curse. No one says anything bad. If you get a demerit, if you do. And that's what I feel like our society is going towards. Like we're not even going to be allowed to say a curse word, or you're going to be like, they're going to hear it from your cell phone because you're going to be monitoring everything you do, and you're going to be put in detention or something like that.
Yeah.
That was one of Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock's one of her first movies too.
Yeah. I like that movie. But Wesley Snipes is great.
It's like that. There's actually there's some parts of China that are like that now, where they go on that credit system where if you jaywalk and do stuff like that, they take credits off you and you can't get a good apartment or a car loan and stuff.
Can you imagine who's in charge of keeping track of all that shit?
Doing that
with 1 billion people.
The demerit system. You get 4 demerits. Your taxes go up.
Can you imagine the person whose job who has to watch over Lee Priest? I got to keep track of Lee Priest, all his demerits. That's like a full-time job in itself.
I'll be living.
No, but I'm saying the person who'd have to watch you.
Because
the computer guy who'd have to sit and say, keep track of all the demerits you have. Forget about it. It's a full-time job.
It's not so much the demerits. It's going to be arguing.
I'd wear him out.
The demerits are valid or not.
That's crazy. I talked to Tony
I'd wear the
Doherty.
person out in a day. They'd be like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. I talked to Tony Doherty the other day because there was rumors floating around. Nick Trigilli was floating some rumors around that the Arnold was done and that Arnold was siding with the Rafael Sankoa and they're getting rid of all the Arnold classes, which is absolutely not true, by the way. I checked with I talked to Bob Lorimer. I talked to Tony Doherty.
A rumor in bodybuilding?
couldn't be
right.
You must be thinking of
crazy.
So Tony was telling me that that Australia has locked down international travel. I mean, you guys, no one's coming in there into that country. Who's not
actually people are mad though because we just let all the tennis people in and 1,200 entourage. So if you people that have left Australia who want to come home, they're not allowed home, but they've let all these tennis players in for the Australian Open and their entourages. So people,
they did. I didn't know that.
About it because I think like 10 of the tennis players have COVID, so they're in lockdown in the hotel for 14 days. And it's on the news. It's showing them hit the tennis balls against the hotel window because they can't get out of their room to train. One of the tennis players said she did 5Ks in a hotel room just running around because they're under quarantine in the hotel room, just hitting tennis balls. I was like,
I would go out of him.
You guys are serious about your lockdowns over there, that's for sure.
Crazy.
Hey, we're a penal colony. What can I say?
That's right. Did you see this? Speaking of that, the pigeon. You know these homing pigeons. A racing U.S. pigeon who's a racing pigeon flew from the United States to Australia. You guys decided to lock him down, and they want to kill him. They want to put him to death. He infiltrated the Australian Airways.
Oh God!
He was probably looking for Mike. Is that one of Mike Tyson's pigeons?
It might be.
What did the letter say, though? I want to know what the letter said on his leg.
I don't know. Took 24 days and 7,200 miles from Arras, France, to Saigon, to Vietnam, back. Hold on. Wait, that's not.
How did they know? What they got a tracker on him? How did they know he did that?
He traveled 8,000 miles across the Pacific.
Didn't land on a ship?
And the U.S. is fearing that he will be put to death as a disease carrier.
How do we know he just didn't sit on a ship and come across?
They must know because he's from the U.S.
He won't be put. He won't be put to death coming into the country. We just had what's his name in here, and he did some commercials for what's that menu log, and those sort of Uber Eats. What's his name? He's a disease carrier. Snoop Doggy Dog. He come into the country.
Anyway, so getting back to what I was trying to say about.
I'm sure he's got a few.
Yeah. So evidently, I guess you could hold. They're going to be holding the bodybuilding shows, the amateur shows, but the pro shows, because they can't bring in international bodybuilders, is locked down right now until this to see if this vaccine takes hold, so to speak. So according to what I'm hearing, is
still 30 people so far. It's doing good.
Yeah.
Our politician here said now the politician here said on the news today, well, yes, they did take the Pfizer vaccine, but they were aged between 73 and 80, so they might have died anyway without the vaccine. I'm saying, so you're admitting that old people in nursing homes die without the COVID disease?
Well, it was interesting. I watched something on the vaccine, and this woman, this doctor, she was an emergency room doctor. She was pointing out that when they, this is this virus is SARS-2, I guess they call it. There was the SARS-1 virus, which was the one that was killing everyone in Europe and in Asia. There, they tried to make a vaccine against it. This was back in the early 2000s, and people were taking the vaccine after the second dose, and they were getting like some kind of if they were exposed to the virus, they were like getting they were like dying. It was like they were having some kind of like reverse reaction from it. She's like, that's why they stopped the trial. It wasn't people. They were testing it on like ferrets, I think, or something like that, and the ferrets were dying. So when they exposed them to the virus, so we don't even know. They didn't even tested this virus long enough to see. I mean, this vaccine, if that's a possible problem with this vaccine, which is also against the SARS.
Pfizer one. I heard the Pfizer. Pfizer one's meant to be okay. Well, I figured if the Pfizer vaccine doesn't cure my COVID, I guess I can fuck for hours.
Look, I think what's going to happen. I believe the virus. Company. I believe that the vaccine will be the vaccine will be. I think it will work for most people, and I don't think anyone's going to have most people will not have adverse reactions. But to any vaccine, there's going to be some people that have a problem with it. Obviously, the problem is, will it stop working in 6 months? That's the problem. They don't know that.
It depends on what the media is going to tell you. That's how you're going to know. It's not going to be through anything.
They actually had a thing on the other day. They had a thing on the other day where they actually had a doctor on. This isn't. I'm being serious now. They actually had a doctor on, and they're actually because some people are getting these reactions to it, like anaphylactic shock type thing. They actually said that they did a thing with like a lot of women that have fillers, like fillers, and
I was saying that,
had all different stuff put in their face. Yeah, they have to take like Benadryl and stuff before they have the vaccine. Yeah. Otherwise,
not good. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is.
I got
anyway.
Well, I do because I've studied vaccines for many years, Dave, and I have to.
All right, I'm going to go to the Swami. That's
this is right up my alley.
No, I'm giving Chris the new nickname. He's the Swami now. He's taking over Lonnie Teeper's role. Okay. Will there be an Olympia this year, and when will it be, Chris?
There will be an Olympia, and it will be sometime around December, like it was this year.
You think they'll push it to December again? Yeah.
They're going to have to keep it a year. They're going to have to keep.
Well, they have to keep it for the sake of the athletes need a full quote year to get ready for it. The top guys. It's insane to say we're going to have it in September. I mean, we're already in February.
Yeah.
And and we'll still be working through COVID. So they've proven that they can have it, or they've proven that they want to have it, or did have it, at the height of COVID. So there's no reason not to have it at the tail end of COVID.
Well,
where will it be?
Tail end.
Biden said he's curing.
They'll have it back in. Trump said it was going away, dude. There was 5, and there's going to be none.
Since it didn't, then Biden said
then he said he was going to ship out the second shipments of the Pfizer vaccine, and there's none. They found out, by the way, there is none. So they'll have it in December because it worked, for December here, and they'll have it in Florida. I heard, didn't they change the New York Pro to have it in Florida again this coming year?
Oh, they did?
That's what I heard. That's what I heard, that they were a rumor, according to Lee. I think that the New York Pro is going to be held back in Orlando, so Florida's the default go-to place. Where just in case, line up our ducks and have it where we know we can have it.
It seems like the Arnold will be in September, according to what Lorimer told me. So,
and we can't call it the New York Pro if it's in Florida now. If everything's going to Florida, we've got to change the names. We can't call it New York Pro when it's in Florida.
Well, I mean, they probably want to keep the name going so that when things settle down, they can go back to New York. I mean, if they change it to the Florida Pro, and you're breaking up that.
You have 6 Florida pros.
Yeah, exactly.
It is completely normal from anybody who lives in New York to move to Florida. So
that's true. That's true.
Normal that is, they can just keep calling it the New York Pro. It's actually a law among the Jews and the Italians. That's very important. You've got to move to Florida.
That's right. That's right. So it was inevitable. I was going to be in Florida.
I did think John
taking him to Spain. Okay, to move to Florida. Okay, so.
Yeah, my father thought he was in Korea. I think.
I heard Spain.
When he was in a good mood, he was in Spain. When he was in a bad mood, he was in Korea. Yeah,
it was great.
I know what John would have liked. John would have liked for the last year. John would have liked where Trump was saying reopen the economy in New York, do it safely, do it like this, and Cuomo come down, and no Cuomo saying open the economy. We need to get New York on its feet. Do it safely.
I wonder where he got that idea.
Here's a prediction. John, since you know everything that's going on in politics, Chris is laughing. What's going to happen when Biden takes over? What are we going to see?
More of the same.
You're not making any predictions?
More of the same bullshit. Nothing's going to change.
You don't think it'll be any different? Okay.
Nope.
Chris, we going to see anything different?
You'll see mostly more of the same, because to move a giant anything takes time. Right? It's I always say it the 4 of us could inherit Warren Buffett's companies, and they're so big, we could have them for 2 years before they start to go bankrupt, because they're just running, on their own.
Right.
So, I think it depends on really if anyone supports him, meaning if there's any type of Republican support. And I think there will be, simply because what happened in the Capitol last week. I think you'll get some people who come to the center, because at the end of the day, you have left-wing nut jobs, right-wing nut jobs.
Yep.
And all the, decisions are always made, either family decisions, marital decisions, political decisions, somewhere in the middle. So the reasonableness is usually closer to the middle.
But let me interrupt you right there, and you can keep going. I just don't think Biden is going to be president for very long.
Oh, really?
No, he's half out of the bag. He's half out of the bag now.
So you think we're going to have Kamala Harris?
So we're going to get her sometime in the. Let's put it this way: sometime in the 4 years. Biden is not making it 4 years. Not doing it. I will bet every ounce of gold I have on that not happening. Okay, not happening. So we're going to get hurt.
I'm just happy.
Extreme. You need the big telescope to find out how far left she is. Okay, so you're not going to get center with that. You're just not. It's gonna, it's gonna be. You're going to hear some really crazy shit that people are going to have to start doing.
Lee,
I'm just looking at the. I'm just looking at the positive side. I'm just looking at the positive side that at least Joe, as crazy as I'm just looking at the positive side, as crazy as Joe is, I'm just happy he's going in the Oval Office because that prick will lock you in a fucking corner. As long as he's going in the Oval Office, at least he can find his way around and just keep walking in circles, the daft bastard. It's like out of all the shit that's happened in America, you've had 9/11, you've had the Oklahoma bombing, you've had wars, Pearl Harbor. That attack on the Capitol was the darkest day in American history. Where were you when BLM was burning down the cities with Antifa and people were getting looted and shot and shit like that? Crickets were heard. Crickets. Nothing was heard. But all of a sudden, what about the woman that got shot in the Capitol? We haven't heard much about that anymore, have we? No.
Right.
Well, they did go in to lynch the vice president.
You watch that video.
They did go in to lynch the vice president.
That's hearsay. Trump supporters. Hearsay.
Never in the history of our
those debates with.
Did you guys ever in the history ever imagine that we'd be going through this? This is crazy, I think.
Dave, of course, Dave. If you
actually
have my text messages, Dave, to you, if you posted them online, all those predictions.
No, but I'm saying like 10 years ago, 15, 20, when you were in high school, studying history of this country.
Yeah.
Did you ever think it would like deteriorate into what we have now? I mean, you'd never predict this in a million years,
The Simpsons, Dave. The Simpsons.
Yeah, they predicted everything. Right.
It. And did you actually know? Here's a funny fact, though. Here's a funny fact. Back in the day, how's this though? Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
He actually had a film. You actually look this up. He had a movie. He had a film cancelled because it actually predicted the Manhattan Project. So the government banned that film.
Wow. That's funny. It's interesting.
Yes.
Banning Theodore.
And in 1964, and here's another reason why people are a bit crazy in Mississippi. In 1964, the U.S. government used to set off nuclear bombs under Mississippi.
Didn't know that.
So it could be why a lot of people are a bit weird in the South. Yeah, there you go. Look, I'm a wealth of knowledge on America, Dave.
I know. I was going to say you know more about America than you know about Australia.
No, but what I think is going to be funny or interesting is that your grandchildren are going to be studying this era in history, and they're going to be realizing things like, oh, that's where the words he, she, grandmother, brothers. That's where all those words were banned. I didn't know my sibling used to be a brother. I didn't know you could call him that.
Well, now you never know what sex they are, so you can't tell.
It's like,
what's going to happen?
Parents, can I go to the store? What the fuck are you supposed to do?
I will say this though, John. Okay. Yeah, deadly.
I was going to say in 10 years' time, when you go to a gender reveal party, just a puff of air will come out because we can't show if it's blue or pink. It'll just be a puff of air. What sex is it? We don't know yet, but it's been born.
We're not allowed to say.
No.
It has to decide.
No, here's the real answer. What do you know? What sex your child is? No, when he grows up, he'll decide.
That's right. There you go. Right.
Yeah. We don't want to push anything on him. We can't.
Right. We don't want to know.
I'll say this one thing about getting back to bodybuilding, since we haven't really talked about that for the last half hour. But Lee has to have the best bodybuilding fans of all time. Lee has a fan who actually tattooed Lee's fucking picture on his arm. Did you see this?
I'm sure there's more than one.
You got to be a pretty big bodybuilding fan to put someone else's picture, another guy's picture on your arm, right? Or whatever.
On his back?
That's on his back. That's
on his back.
On his
Okay.
back.
On his back of his shoulder. Wow.
Lee, do you know this guy?
His name is Steve
Oh,
Blackman.
he follows me. Steve's got that tattooed around his
Lee
asshole.
let me do it.
No,
I've been wanting to do it for years. It's a Lee tattoo.
Steve has my face on his butt cheek, so when he shits, I go. No, actually, he just follows me. He just follows me on Instagram. But these people, Dave, I have a few people that have had my picture tattooed on them. Some have had their face tattoo.
More than one.
And you know what I like? You know what I like about these people? If I ever come back to America and say, "Let's go storm the Capitol," these motherfuckers would do it for me. So
They
that's what I
probably
like about
would.
these-
Luckily, there's only about 10 of them or 12 of them.
That's all it takes. It only takes a couple, Dave. That's all it takes.
That's all it
It's
takes.
not like you have a militia or anything like that. You know?
I just need two of them that know how to fly a plane. If two of them
Give
know
them
how to
a
fly a
week. We
plane,
can have
I'm
them.
there.
Yeah.
If you gave Lee a week, he could put together the best army that you ever saw.
I bet.
Team of specialists that would make Delta Force look
Yeah.
like.
We're gonna, and we'll fight to the death like Braveheart.
And his lead generals would be fucking Big Lenny and I don't know who else. But
Guy's not afraid to die.
no,
Like that.
no cookie cutters in your ranks. That's for sure.
No, it's just that my fans are that stupid. They won't know when they get shot, they're going to die. That's the difference. They'll just think it's all like a game. Yeah, but
Oh wow!
it's like that comedian said. They need to go back. They need to go back to the old muskets. Remember, because people always say, you know, this day and age, it's so easy to whip out a gun and just shoot someone. You get pissed off, someone does something, you get a road rage, you fucking shoot them straight away. You go back to the old days. If someone, imagine that. If someone cut you off and you got to get the gun out, you just fucking wait there. When I'm ready, I'm gonna come. Don't worry about it now. The moment's passed. See,
10 minutes later.
That's easier. Yeah, you know, that anger will be gone. You're so busy fucking trying to.
I like it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, it's either going to be that or they're going to send counselors to the shootouts.
Well, at least you still have guns there. They took all our guns down here. Now we just got to stab people and stuff down here. We haven't got.
Oh,
guns
you guys don't.
anymore.
You can't have guns over there.
No, only if you belong to a gun club or you're a farmer. Everyone else,
I didn't know.
we had this amnesty. They brought the guns back. Well, we don't, but the criminals still have them. Put it that way. But the normal people.
That's right.
Guns, so.
Amanda had turned on.
But normally now there's just lots. Just lots of stabbings now down here. Stabbings, and someone got killed yesterday. A girl, 23-year-old, killed her father, stabbed him to death. Another one got killed, crowbar to the head. So, you know, we just go back to the old blunt force trauma shit down here now.
And you got to only kill your family. You're not allowed to.
guns.
They got curfews there, John. You can't go
Right,
out.
you only kill your
You
family.
can only kill your loved ones now. You can't kill strangers
Yeah,
anymore.
well,
You're locked down over
can you
there.
imagine if you're locked in the house for 14? You're locked in. Get locked in your house for 14 days with your family. There's going to be some shit going down.
That's right.
It's like that Richard Pryor, that line from the Richard Pryor movie. He was in the prison and he was talking to the brothers and he said, "Why did you kill 5 people?" And he said, "Because they were home."
And they was home.
They was home. So that's why you got to lock down with all these people. That's why you're killing them, because they're home.
That's right. They're driving you crazy. So we were home, Amanda and I.
Remember those good
flipped
Richard
on.
Pryor?
Oh.
I was just going to say, remember the old Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor movie?
I loved that. They did a lot of movies together.
Silver Streak.
That was a great one.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was funny.
Stir Crazy.
Stir Crazy.
They're crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
Silver
See No
Streak.
Evil, See No Evil. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were in a few together.
Yeah.
What a crazy combination of the two actors to put together. Gene Wilder, who's like plays like the crazy
Willie the
Jewish,
Wonker.
guy, and Richard Pryor, the black guy, who's got who's got the street credibility, and you put them together. It was like a great fucking combination, But anyway, I want to end the show on a bodybuilding note. I was watching Amanda flipped on Kevin Levroni's Full Blown. Remember that Full Blown training video he did back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
It's on YouTube now. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
I was going to say, what you watch it on VHS? What were you watching it on?
No, it was someone uploaded it to YouTube. So we were watching it, and Amanda's like, "Yeah, he wasn't that big. He had like clothes on." I said, "Wait till he takes his shirt off."
Oh, the hoodie.
Yeah. And she she was like, "He wasn't that." As soon as he took it off, she was like, "Well, yeah, I guess he is pretty big." He might have the best delts of all time, Chris. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it's the delts combined with the tricep
Yeah.
that make his whole physique.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Right.
You know, he had the shot up looking triceps that weren't shot up.
No, they weren't shot up.
And he had the shot up looking delts that weren't shot up. And that's what's so exciting about him is that they weren't shot up and they looked like, I mean, who has delts and triceps like that? Yeah. I mean, Phil has those type of triceps and delts, but still his is, I think, they're just unique.
But
Levroni's so wide too.
Yeah, Levroni's very wide.
Yeah.
When he first came on the scene, his whole career, his midsection was outstanding.
Yeah. Yes.
He had the quads at the beginning.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know why what
Like
happened.
the year
with
he
that
won the
because
Nationals. When he won the Nationals there the year after.
He was crazy those years, huh? This is when he won the Nationals right here.
Was it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You were there, right, Chris?
No, I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't.
But he came out to Venice the week later, and he had might have been a historic rebound. He looked a week later just unbelievable. And he was still in shape.
Mm-hmm.
Look how young he is here too.
Yeah, he's a kid.
He was the funniest. He was the funniest on the European tours. He was the funniest, drinking all the time, drinking vodka, and on the plane. We're on the plane and he's drinking vodka. By the end of the plane trip, he's got his shirt off. His pants are halfway down his ass. The gay flight attendant's bringing him sandwiches, going, "Oh, he's so cute. He's so cute." It's like Kevin's just walking around the plane with his shirt off.
Nowadays they arrest you, right? Politically correct.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't get arrested when we're in Spain because we're going from Budapest to Spain or somewhere like that. It was like a 9-hour layover, and that's back in the day. Everyone's smoking in the airports and that. So we got this layover to get to Spain. We finally got to Spain at 10 at night. By the time we finished competing, it was 2 a.m. Had to get back to the airport at 5. But while we're in the airport, we're looking for Kevin, and Wayne's like, "Where's Kevin?" We're like, "I don't know where Kevin is." So I finally go wandering on down to the toilets. Here's Kevin in the toilets, hardly no clothes on, tanning up at the airport toilet, just putting tan on. I was like, I remember when we got to Moscow. I think the Mafia used to run the bodybuilding when we got to Russia and Moscow, because when we finally got there, it was late again. They wanted to take us to this big restaurant. And Wayne DeMillier's like, "Oh, could we drop the guys at the hotel first just to settle in?" And they're like, "No, we must go to a restaurant." And Wayne's like, "Well, the guys are really hungry." And this, some of those Russian guys are like big looking, strong men. He just looked at Wayne. He goes, "There is no compromise." Wayne,
I like that line.
But
I'm going to use
yeah.
Levroni told me he won $100,000 at that show.
Everyone's going through Which one? The one in Russia?
They paid him
he said he won $100,000.
They paid him in cash,
right? And
they paid people that year in cash, Dave.
Yeah, and he said he had to give each person take a $10,000 and hide it in their socks and something like that for him to get it over the board, to get it into the U.S. Did you know that?
I just remember when we got there, everyone was going through customs in Russia, but these guys come up picked us up where we got off the plane, and they had like machine guns, and we just walked straight out. No customs, no nothing, straight out of the airport.
No, but Kevin told me this story that when they were leaving, he had $100,000 in cash. You can't just fly with $100,000 in cash. I think it was like at the time you could only have $10,000.
You can't. You have to declare it.
Oh, you have to declare it. I got you. Okay. Yeah. Well, they're going to ask him where he got it from. He's going to be right. I mean, coming into the U.S. with $100,000. Oh, yeah. So I think he gave each guy $10,000, all the competitors, to hold for him, and they did it. I said they gave it back to you. Yeah, I think there's one shyster who said he lost it along the way.
Oh, I lost it.
And if Kevin's drinking on the plane,
I lost it with Phil Heath's bracelet. I don't know.
So that was a good story. Can you imagine getting paid $100,000 in cash? That's like $200,000 he won.
Sure, if you can keep the taxes.
Yeah. Someone said they're still making your blueberry blintzes.
That's right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. Those are good. The crepes, those are awesome.
I don't know what they're referring to.
I made them the other day, actually, for a Gaspari show.
Oh, maybe that's what they're referring to. Maybe
I haven't posted yet.
Where is that
at? What's that?
I thought you were talking about IHOP.
Almost.
Lee, someone says you look like a dyke. I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
Me? I'll take that as a compliment.
Finally, you caught on. Finally, you caught on. I was dressed as Ellen today. Finally. I'm glad you recognized. I'm here.
Kind of like a cross between
my wife Portia's just sitting in the other room.
Yeah. John, did someone wants to know? Did Blackman like Nasser? Was he a Nasser
You can't
fan?
say I look like a dyke.
Oh, I'm interrupting, Lee. Sorry, Lee.
Did Blackman like Nasser?
Yeah, someone wants to know if.
No, just saying. If you say I'm.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
He wasn't a Nasser fan.
I don't remember Nasser. Maybe I don't remember Nasser ever doing anything with.
He was always a weeder guy, though. So
he was
probably
a weeder guy. Yeah,
I don't think.
He'd be suspicious of Steve.
I don't think he ever
did.
Yeah,
he wouldn't like Steve.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Steve. He has offered me money to for my underwear, but I say, Steve, I don't want to get involved with this. You're not offering me. It is too cheap. I will, charge you $10,000 for my underwear, but not $10. I am sorry. I can't. I have no time for these homosexuals who ask me for my underwear. And then I have to go to his office and pose with my.
I still laugh. I still laugh at that 98 Olympia when we had Olympia in 98 when we had the drug testing done, and we all did our urine test, and we went back to the night show. The pump up room Nasser and I went to. He's like, Lee, come with me. Get away from the other people. Come with me. Outside the pump up room, there's the whole tray, and it had Flex. It had Flex's name in the bottle. It had everyone's name, like the Nasser. Let's just put shit in everyone's bottle and they're champions. Like, I was just still sitting there on a big tray from this morning.
That's not protocol,
had
right?
Everyone's
John?
name on it. I said, let's see how legit this test is.
That's a great chain of command, right there. Yeah.
That's how Jay sued, right? The IFBB.
I was just sitting there. I said,
and won. Jay Cutler failed the diuretic test one year. Remember that, Chris? Right? He threatened to sue them because their protocol was horrendous about how they took the vials of the urine, and he won. They dropped it. They let him keep his money.
Oh yeah.
Nasser hated that, by the way. He was so mad because Nasser
we did that
lost
in the morning.
So did Sean Ray, Dave. That's why Sean hated him for life.
Is that really?
Yeah, because Sean ended up getting his money taken away in 1991.
And that was a lot of money back then. Probably 90,000, right?
No, 60.
Oh, 60? That's still 60. A lot back then, yeah.
And so that was his chip.
But at least they had a test, though. In 97, when I had my money taken away and Paul had his money taken away after the show, it was just because of an error, they said. Remember when Paul was 4th and I was 5th and Kevin got 6th, and then by the time we got to the Queen Mary, they changed the placings around. Paul had D'Amelia by the
neck. By the throat,
Paul
right?
had D'Amelia up against the wall by the neck. Yeah.
Can you imagine Paul DeLite grabbing you by the neck and holding you up against the wall? That had to be scary.
I said, because Paul didn't know about it until I got to the Queen Mary. I said, Paul, did you hear? You got moved down to fifth place in that. He goes, what?
He
I
must
said,
have
yeah,
went nuts.
you got moved down to fifth. I said, you just lost 20 grand. And he's just sitting there and he's scanning the room looking for D'Amelio. He's just scanning. I said, 20 grand, Paul. You lost 20 grand. And as soon as he sees D'Amelio, he's got him by the neck.
So they should have blamed you for that. In other words, you're always the troublemaker, Lee.
I was just getting worked up, just getting him worked. But it's like when we got ready, when he lived with me before the '98 Olympia. Remember Edelman's cakes when Edelman's would bring out those fat-free chocolate cakes, you could buy. It was fat-free. Every day I'd go buy one. I'd always go buy one for me and Paul. And as the contest got closer, he'd be like, "Son, did you eat your cake?" I'm like, "Yes, I ate my cake, Far. You need to eat yours." But what he didn't know was I was going outside to the garbage bin, throwing mine in the bin and giving him his. Eat your cake.
Yeah,
and he was probably getting harder from eating it. That's the funny thing.
He was doing insulin while he was taking this. Oh, Lee gave me a cake. Let me do 10
no, Paul was taking. No, Paul was taking that much clenbuterol. I'd come back from the gym and he'd just be sitting on my couch like this. The air conditioner full blast. He's like, "Son, I think I took too much insulin. I mean, clenbuterol. I'm burning up, son." And I'd get to the point he'll sweat that bad. Body Alive would give him clothing, and I said, "Are you doing your laundry?" He wouldn't even do laundry. He'd just go to the gym and train, and then he'd take off his Body Alive clothes, throw them in the boot of his car, and at the end of the week, he'd take all the sweaty clothes out and throw them away, and just go get more clothes from Body Alive.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. So lazy, right? And Lee couldn't wear his stuff because it'd probably be like a nightshirt on you.
I told you that time. Exactly. I told you that time I come home and I went upstairs because my room was up this side upstairs and his was on the other side. I went past his room and I looked in there and I'm like, "What was that?" So I backed up and I go looking back. Paul out cold, sound asleep on the bed. I think his girlfriend at the time was Tina, this little girl Tina from back east, and she's sitting on the bed with a razor and a bucket of water, rubbing stuff on his chest and shaving him while he's asleep with a bucket of water like this. I'm like, what the fuck?
He found the right girlfriend, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Man. You might as well get a nap and while someone's shaving your body.
He was asleep and she's just shaving him while he's sleeping.
Right. Well, he was he had a lot of body mass to shave, that's for sure.
On that note, I have to call China.
All right, yeah, we got to wrap this up, guys. Thanks for joining me again. Chris is in Miami still. When are you coming back, Chris?
Track down.
I'll be back. I'll be back in a few days, Dave.
Okay, Chris heading back to Maine.
All right,
and John is who are you calling? Are you calling China for Gaspari?
Yeah. No.
Are you getting some vaccine
for my business in Mexico?
Oh, okay. That's more important anyway.
I have many small people counting on me.
And Lee, have a good day. You're just starting your day in Australia, so
yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
it's 20 to 6 at night now, Dave. On
oh,
Monday
it is
night.
okay. Yeah, I guess. Well, it's almost 2 a.m. here, so I guess that makes sense. You're already done with it. Your Monday's over. We haven't even started.
Do you want to know what's happening? I'm done. I'm over this day, mate. I'm done.
Well, guys,
do you want the lotto numbers for tonight? I'll give you the Monday night lotto numbers. Do you want them?
Oh, we did really good. Don't demonetize us before the end of the show is over.
You did okay.
I want to thank also all the people who watched along the whole show because they stuck with us. We got a lot of good questions. And because you're always the cause of everything. I always blame you for everything. It's a lot easier. I find that it's much easier to blame other people for anything that I do.
Someone asked me.
You're breaking
someone
up
asked,
a lot, Lee.
am I going to Harvey Bay? No, but I'll be up near I'll be up near McLean, near Coffs Harbour next month.
Yeah, if you want to oil up Lee, it's $20 per body part.
Right.
Yeah. All right, I'm wrapping this up. You know what we say every week. Remember, guys.
Come back.
Oh, you want to give us a little look at that?
Well, your face is puffier this week. Those arms are nuts.
Yeah, Chris says he thinks you're on 16 IUs of GH a day. Is that true?
Look at that.
That's insane.
Well, I'd
Yeah,
be
that is
bigger than
insane.
5'5" if I was. I'd at least get some.
Let me see the other arm. I don't want to see the good arm. I want to see the bad arm.
Taught me how to,
That is the bad arm.
No, that's the good arm. That's the good
I
arm.
know.
he taught me how to do curls.
Oh, that's pretty
He
good.
taught me how to
That's
do
the bad
curls
arm.
The
properly.
bad arm is still bigger
Lee,
than everyone else's bad
Lee,
arm. Good
train.
arms.
Lee, train on Tuesday, take Wednesday off. Train on Thursday, take Friday off.
Okay.
And one more
Hold
thing,
on,
Lee.
hold on.
Write it down. Write it
Wait,
down.
one more
Hold
thing
on.
before you forget.
Hold on.
When you're holding the bar up like this, just lift it up a little bit, and then put it back down. Just a little. Just change your style just a little bit. Just up and then down a little. That's all you.
What speed?
Oh,
Chris, I'm gonna have to call you
4 seconds.
about
4
the
seconds.
macros.
One
up, 6
Mississippi,
seconds down.
2 Mississippi, 3
Time on
Mississippi, 4
Time
Mississippi.
on detention.
That's right.
right. As much time as you can.
Yeah.
This is
Who is-
okay.
Didn't
Okay,
Ben
okay.
Pekulski come out with the what? Wasn't he doing like one rep or something like that? Like 1 rep sets or something like that? You just did 1 rep for a while. I think he had lunch for doing that for a while, didn't he?
Oh, dear.
I got
All right, let's wrap it up.
My response is the same as Lee.
Just go to the gym and freaking train and eat,
Work.
and you'll grow.
Well, John, if you're calling China, John, don't wing the wrong number. You're welcome.
You're a racist, Lee. You're a racist.
I'm
You're
here all
right.
day. You're welcome.
God.
Guys, remember, with Heavy Muscle
I know.
Radio,
I hate everyone equally. I hate everyone equal.
it does hurt. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you for joining us live.